Hey everyone, welcome to Spice of Life Kitchen. Today we're going to smoke some ribs on the smoker. Let's get cooking. Alright, so today we have some pork back ribs and we're going to put them on the smoker. So I'm going to put my rub on here and then we're going to preheat the smoker and get ready to smoke some ribs. So let's get the ingredients for the rub. Okay, so once you take your ribs out of the package, there's that skin in the back. You could try to take it off. Maybe you get lucky. I don't get that kind of luck. It's kind of a very difficult to get off. You can watch hundreds of videos where people have their ways of doing it. I've tried a bunch of different ways and it doesn't work. So what I do is I'll just, in between the rib, the bone, I'll just score it with my knife, right? Just so it'll come apart later on when it's cooked. That's all I do. Say you can't if you don't want, if you want to try to remove it, but to save time, because I've tried it hundreds of times and I think out of the 100 I got it to come off once, so that's not very good odds. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put my dry rub on it, and if you remember from some of my other videos, we're going to put 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of chipotle if you want heat. If you don't want heat, then you can keep the chipotle off of it. 2 tablespoons of paprika, 2 tablespoons salt, 1 tablespoon of white sugar, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, and 1 tablespoon of onion powder. And what I do is I'll put it in a little shaker and then I'll mix it up. So let me wash my hands real quick here. Probably should have put my gloves on. So put it on the shaker, makes it easier for me to just spread it on here, right? And once I get lots on here, I'll just pat it in here. What I should do is put it on a tray. Hold on, let me grab a tray. That'll keep the rub from getting all over the table and keep it on here. Over. Now what I usually do is once if it's thawed out, I'll leave it in the fridge overnight. Now you could put the rub on the night before if you want and let it sit overnight, and then an hour before you're ready to smoke it, then you could just take it out of the fridge, let it get to room temperature. So we're going to do it low and slow here. Now I've done a few different methods here over the years. Done the 3-2-1 method, and what I found out with the 3-2-1 method, it usually gets a little overcooked, right? So mine, I more or less just remove the 1. So I'll do 3 hours of smoked, right, where the smoke gets all in the smoker, and then after the 3 hours I'll wrap it in tin foil or butcher paper or whatever with some apple juice, and then I let it sit in because we want it kind of fall off the bone. We don't usually use a bark, but if you want a bark, there's so what you could do: 3 hours, not wrapped, just on the rack in the smoker. After 3 hours, you wrap it. Now, it all depends on how you want it at the finished product. Now, if you want some sort of a bark, wrap it for an hour and then take it off out of the wrapper, put it back on the smoker without a wrapper, and then at this point, if you want to put your barbecue sauce on there and or just get a bark, then you can leave it on there without any sauce on it for another hour. So 5 hours total at 250 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? So what we do is, since I'm putting a dry rub, we don't put a barbecue sauce. If we're having company, then we'll have barbecue sauce on the side for people. Or if we're having lots of company, then I'll do a couple racks on the smoker, and then I'll put sauce on it on some of the racks, and no sauce on some of the racks, right? So it's just two of us today. So we're not going to put any sauce on it. So we'll put it in there for 3 hours at 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Let the smoke get it on it. Then after the 3 hours, we'll come and wrap it in tin foil, double wrap it, right? So you keeps all the moisture in there, and then we pour a little bit of apple juice in there. And after the 2 hours, it should be fall off the bone, right? Nice and tender. So that's what we're gonna do is, once we get that smoker up to 250 degrees, we're gonna get this on the smoker, and we're gonna use, since we're using apple juice when it's wrapped, we're gonna use cherry wood for the wood for smoking today. Okay, so let's get that smoker up to temperature, and then we'll get this in there. All right, so it's close enough. So we're gonna throw the ribs there on the smoker. Now, since it's only one rack, we're gonna do some jalapeno poppers. I'll leave a link up top here for if you want to watch the video of how we do our jalapeno poppers in the smoker too. They're amazing. It's like potato chips. You can't just eat one. So now we're gonna let that go for 3 hours, and then we're gonna pull it off and wrap it. Okay, so it's been 3 hours now. We're gonna take some aluminum foil here. Now I got this big huge one from Amazon, 100 meters, so over 300 feet. So nice and wide, so I can use it for big pieces of meat. I like to double wrap it. The thing you gotta watch out, you get kind of like a, I don't know, we call it a paper cut, but still kind of sharp. And take this, and then what we do is you want it on the, come on. You want it on the back side, so you have that little cup, so, and then you can put your apple juice or your apple cider vinegar or whatever you want in there. So I'm going to take a little bit of apple juice. I want to make sure I center this. So when I wrap it, I want to make sure it gets wrapped nicely. Everything is covered and sealed tight. And I'll pour a little bit of this apple juice in there. just so it sits in there. And then once it heats up, it'll kind of steam, and then I'll put a little bit on the both sides here. Now, you can leave it on there for 2 hours in here. I don't even think this one's a little smaller than normally we get. So maybe an hour and a half. I'm gonna check it and then pull it apart and see how easily it pulls apart. We like it kind of like fall off the bone. Nice and tight, so no drippings or moisture get out. Now we're going to throw that back on the smoker, and then we'll check it. Instead of 2 hours, we'll check it in about an hour and a half, because like I said, it's kind of smaller. And then I'll just see how it pulls apart. If it pulls right apart, then it's good. And then, because even if you let it rest in the tin foil, it'll still cook based on the heat inside the tin foil, right? So, but usually we just like to eat, right? It's done. I usually set it for about the time when it's time to eat. So we're gonna check it in an hour and a half. All right. Check it, take it off the smoker, and see what it looks like. I don't know if you can see all that juice in there. So now, pay off here. Right. See how easily that came off? A little hot, right off the smoker though. But definitely done. You can see. And it's just peeling off the bone. Now, this was an hour and a half after, so yep, so it's been 4.5 hours. Now, if you wanted to, you can put some barbecue sauce on it and throw it back in there for another half an hour, just so the barbecue sauce bakes on there. But look at that, and we got that apple juice that kind of baked on the top there. But look at it. All I did was shake it and it came apart. That's how we like it. Some people like a little bit of bark on theirs. We like to fall off the bone. But that's it. Now, pull it apart and enjoy. So if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that bell to be notified when I post another video. We'll talk to you later.